Hello, everybody. I decided to record a video with some best of three historic based off of the mono green Tron deck that I've been shamelessly playing since I took it from MTG Goldfish. I didn't think that I would be much of a very fun Tron player. However, I've really fallen in love with the card, Karn the Great Creator. It's my first experience with a toolbox type deck, so we're going to do a quick deck tech. If you really want to learn how to play this deck, you should probably go check out a mythic ranked player like some of our friends. However, this is just how I understand it, and we're going to talk through some of the decisions I make as I play. So we have a set of 6 elves. We rely more on Land of War elves because it doesn't take a card out of our hand necessarily. Sometimes we could play one landers when we drop an elf. However, the Grazers are great in the burn matchups where you need just a functional blocker. We have some Mind Stones that can be free when we pair it with the discount from Ugin the Ineffable. Sometimes you just trade these in for cards late in the game as a cycle 2, and sometimes, though not frequently, this is how you curve out if they kill your Land of War Elves on turn 1 with Shock. Then we have 8 of a Mana Ramp play on turn 3. We have Cultivate and Land of War Visionary. So, and we have one final ramp card that is just a decent blocker with the sad robots that we're all familiar with from Commander. And this really helps when we are just stumbling to get to our big mana, meaning we don't get our cultivates off and our elves get either ripped out of our hands through thought seizes or shocked or otherwise dealt with on board. We play 4 of Nissa, who shakes the world, who continues to win games well after her time in Standard. This isn't the last that we've seen of her. If you haven't crafted her and you like playing green, you should probably craft her. And then Cavalier Thorns is our other 5-drop. It's nice that we have 6 of these specifically because these are our turn 3 plays. This is the equivalent of our 3-drop. You know, an ideal opening hand is 3 forests, a Land of War Elves, a Cultivate or Land of War Visionary, and then one of Nissa, who shakes the world, or Cavalier of Thorns. Our super big top end, the things that we're ramping to, are Ugin the Ineffable, who, in and of itself, is not the best top end. However, he makes a lot of our stuff way cheaper to cast, which is ultimately really, really helpful. Having a big turn with Ugin, Karn, and then something out of the wish board is super huge. Ugin the Spirit Dragon wins the games harder than Nissa, and he, in addition to Blast Zone, are our only sweepers. So for things like the Rakdos aggro decks, Lurrus decks, and other things that are going wide on board, Ugin's the thing that we are looking for, and if we miss Ugin, we likely lose the game. And then our super big top end, who typically comes out on turn 4 to 5 in these Magic Christmas Land scenarios, is Ulamog. Ulamog just wins games. Exiling 2 permanents is a big deal. It's just a straight 3 for 1. It's impossible to remove. Not a whole lot of things have exile-based effects that are going to be able to target this. And even if it does, it's a 3 for 1, which is amazing. But we don't frequently get to play this without a lot of help. Typically, a lot of help looks like ramping into Nissa and then untapping with Nissa, because having a mana doubler in play is amazing. Our mana base is super simple. We have 19 forests, a blast zone, which helps us with taking care of pesky 1 and 2 drops that go wide on us, a field of ruin, a Karn's Bastion, and Cascading Cataracts. This is a spicy inclusion for our wish board very specifically. This doesn't really produce mana for us when we need it to, but there are 3 cards on our sideboard that we need it for WUBRG. Garn basically makes our sideboard just a wish board. Even in best of 3, we aren't going to be switching things in and out. Most of the time, we're just going to be playing the standard, quote, best of 1 deck as our main board. It's so streamlined and linear, and the wishes are really where you get your interaction. So if you really need something for sideboard bullets, you're going to be mulliganing for Karn. In our wishboard, we have Tormod's Crypt and Grafdigger's Cage, which are very important for the Lurrus and Rakdos-based decks. They really help with the recursive elements and making sure that they don't really get their value engines online. We have a Manifold Key, which is super helpful when you can stall out boards. I haven't wished for this quite yet. I'm not really sure what the usage is. However, having the ability to sneak a creature through really shortens our clocks, especially with big bad boys like Cavalier of Thorns, or if Karn has previously wished out a high CMC artifact. Shadow Spear is really useful, in my opinion. It is a little mana intensive for what it does. However, being able to do +1/+1 trample lifelink is very important, and the hexproof and indestructible clauses are very important for handling specific permanents like boggles and aura holders that just need to get targeted exile from, say, Ugin the Ineffable and his -3. For control matchups, we have Mazemind Tome, which allows us to do card filtering, card selection. This is a very synergy, draw the right half of your deck type of thing, and when you're in top deck mode, most of the time you don't want extra lands. Or you very specifically need that last land to get up to like Ulamog, and you want to take away anything that doesn't produce mana the turn it's played. Source's Spyglass helps us with silver bolding. It's just kind of a staple for any kind of wish board, any kind of Karn board. We have Crucible, which is very helpful for land destruction type of elements that we see pop up time to time. And this, to me, helps recover when you have like Nissa and, let's say, a burn deck that is just like bolting down your lands. Crucible can be very helpful to make sure that you get back to your land count for Ugin the Spirit Dragon if your lands have come under duress for any reason. We have Sparkhunter Manticore, which helps us with our Planeswalkers and is a value engine. This is good against Super Friends decks, like in similar mono green Planeswalkers type of items. Helm of the Host is helpful, and really, to me, this is a value engine, a very expensive one for ETB effects like Llanowar Visionary, or Solemn Simulacrum, or Cavalier of Thorns. I haven't found a game where this is really needed, and partially that's because of the strength of the next card. We have two of Golos, and if we don't know who Golos is by now, then I don't know, you didn't play Standard in 2019. This is the card that we include our Wooburg land Cascading Cataracts for. As a singleton, we can have Golos to go tutor it up, and in a lot of cases, especially if you have like a Nissa, you can land Karn, wish for Golos, play Golos, and have a very big turn and be very stable, and get your next land out. And then you could just start casting, all kinds of Ugins and Ulamogs and all kinds of top ends once this is here. To me, once resolved, you win the game on the spot, assuming that they have no interaction. And most of the time, if you are wishing for this, you are not looking for silver bolts to disrupt their game plan. You are cruising pretty cleanly. The other thing that I like to wish for, and this is almost my default in the toolbox, is God Pharaoh's statue. It puts a huge tax on opponents doing their spells, and if you're in a relatively even board state when this lands, while it is very expensive, it does two things very well. One, it locks them out from casting their big spells and puts them lower on their curve. The second thing is that Karn, in its +1, can make it a 6/6, which can close the game very quickly. We have catch-all removal with Meteor Golem, which I really like. We have Chamber Sentry, which is our quote, cheaper version of Golos. And then a Stonecoil Serpent, which is great for like infinitely blocking Niv Mizzet and just incidentally handling any kind of flyers or multicolor cards that you might run in counter to. So that's our quick tech. Let's go ahead and hop into the queue. So I find myself mulliganing with this deck a fair amount, mostly because I really want to see some kind of turn 1 play plus a turn 2 play, that's 3 mana. We'll play first. And this is an example of a mulligan hand. We don't really do anything for a very long time. Our first real impact on board is turn 3. And Ugin, the Ineffable, is not good enough to catch us up from any kind of proactive game plan. So we're going to mulligan. This is worse. We have 1 land. It's not colored. So we're going to mulligan again. All right, we're going to keep this one. And we're going to get rid of Ulamog. And I'm going to get rid of specifically Mindstone in this situation. We're not going to be we want to maximize our chances at playing Nissa on turn 3, if not early, if not maybe turn 4. And maybe it's the right decision to keep a Mindstone there to be a mana ramp on turn 2. But it looks like they're not going to take care of our elves. Cavalier of Thorns is a good pickup here, although I wish I hit Cultivate. And I think I'm going to be running out Cavalier first. It's just such a big body, and they've presented us a strong board already. So we're going to go Mindstone. We're going to eat a big hit next turn, but then we'll stabilize off of Cavalier. They're going wide on cheap 1-drops. This looks like it's a mono green aggro. But we'll see if we can get there off of Cavalier and untap Nissa. Cultivate. 1 turn too late, my friend. So one of the great things about Cavalier is that I can grab things out of the graveyard when it's taken care of. So we have 3 fantastic targets here. Unfortunately, they're likely to be eaten by Scavengers. Collected Company is a fantastic card off the top for this person. I don't think I make it back from this, but we'll see. So we're going to cast Nissa. Untap. And cast Cultivate. We're really exposing ourselves, but we're doing as much as we possibly can to make sure that we can say Ulamog or Ugin the Spirit Dragon with Cavalier Thorns. I don't know why he's not going after a Spirit Dragon here. Now he has a clean attack with Yorvo into Nissa. So he's making sure that Nissa dies, which is a good prerogative here. So we're going to just block the biggest ooze, let Nissa die. Because even if we put Spirit Dragon on top, we wouldn't... Well, we would have been able to cast Spirit Dragon. That's unfortunate. Offer a trade with my Vigilant Forest. If he lands it, we might still be able to stabilize here. We can chump with our elves. That's good. Yorba is huge. So we're going to jump here. We're going to eat a pelt collector. We're going to create a Barkite troll. Now we're down to 8 mana, so we can safely crack this and hope for a Nukin. Late, my friend. They swing past. But now we know that we're playing a green go wide deck that does go a little bit tall, which is kind of interesting. It's monocolor, and it does get out to a hot start. Shadow Spear seems to be the most likely thing for us to need to tutor. Karn is not a card that I want to see here. I very much want to see Nissa and then like some kind of Ugin situation. I feel like this is a relatively difficult matchup if the green Stompy does get to a hot start, and I would definitely say that that was a pretty good one. Maybe we survive that if Yorvo doesn't come around. And maybe I should have blocked differently there to put a Spirit Dragon on top, but my opponent still had Scavenging Ooze out. We'll play. And so this is an example of the 1-3-5. We have Arboreal Grazer, which is actually better in our case. Because of the 3 toughness, it's very useful. Okay. Because I don't have another land in hand, I would prefer to have it cultivate over Land Ward Visionary. This gives me a turn 3 Nissa, which can start pumping out 3/3s for me, which may or may not scale appropriately for something like Steel Champion. And I'm not going to do anything with this. So I'm just going to animate my Cascading Cataracts and start attacking. The Indestructible clause on this is useful. These 2 cards will always make some kind of 5-color green pile. Okay, we got Scavenging Ooze. That's good. Good for opponent. Okay. Let's get super big on land here. And let's do Visionary. Ugin. Minus Ooze. Play Mindstone. And we will ship the turn back after swinging with Cataracts. And I think we're in a very good situation here. Nissa can ult this turn and tutor up all my forests. Ugin's going to start giving me 2/2s. And opponent realizes that he has met his fate. So we'll run it back. So I mentioned in that last game at the very end that I would ult Nissa using Karn's Bastion, and I would just get the emblem and trade in the Nissa. So this feels like a dead card in the matchup. I do want to eventually have it, but not my starting hand. So we'll mulligan. This really does feel like a 4-lander, considering the opponent's deck. We'll go ahead and keep it, and we'll send back Solemn Simulacrum. I'd rather have Mindstone be a cheaper item. And would you look at that? We get Nissa. So we get potential turn 3 Nissa. Opponent has potentially much stronger start than game 2. Archive Troll. Very good. They're going to get him for a huge attack. Tap out Nissa. And I think we animate a forest. And we're going to pass with a stronger blocker so that they either just send Troll or we can eat the ooze on a swing out. We don't want to leave Nissa defenseless. We do want to make this individual work for it. So this reads like there's a pin spell somewhere. I'm going to trade off with Troll and see what opponent has. They're running low with cards on hand, and as long as I can pump 3/3s out, I'm happy. That's an excellent redraw. Maybe that's not the right term for it. So, with this, I'm going to drop an elf. And it technically does drain out mana, but we're going to go offer trade 2 for 1. Yeah, we're just going to Mind Stone and have a cycle option available. The opponent knew that this play was available and decided not to do the trade with the Scavenging Ooze, hoping that it would outgrow what I could produce at 3/3. Okay, so we're going to do this and go ahead and cycle. They're going to do a swing out here. So I'm going to leave so Scavenging Ooze is going to get bigger. That's just the fact of the matter. But opponent has 3 1-drops. And that means that I could play Blast Zone next turn, and I wipe away all their 1/1s. So I'm going to pass the turn and see if I can untap with Nissa. I'll throw everything in front of Scavenging Ooze. Opponent can make it a 4/4. Opponent can only make it 3/3. So I will jump, hit that. And now I have a Blast Zone activation that I could do on demand here. Oops. Misplay. Well, at least I can Karn's Bastion. So I'm going to put the elves in front of that, do that, block, proliferate. It should be kind of a backbreaker. Oh, would you look at that redraw? So can I get him? I have access to 8 mana. Alright, let's play it slow and steady. Swing. Should have activated Karn's Bastion there, but alright, we get there. 1-0 on record. Excellent. I had a few misplays there, and as mentioned, I'm still working on learning the deck. This is not usually my typical deck. As you well know, I play a lot of red deck wins, where it's like, quote, be the beatdown, or if you're not the beatdown, be capable of assuming the role and ending games quickly once you can turn the table. Things like Teamer Adventures are a lot of fun for me. Now, this is a weird hand. This is big mana. Turns Mind Stone into a cycle card. We're going to keep it because it is functional. So we're probably playing Gruul Lane Destruction, which makes Cultivate a little stronger, in my opinion. Felt Collector. Robber of the Rich. Took Forest off top. Not bad. Let's see. With a Blast Zone. I want to make sure I hit my next land drop in case they start dropping. Because Blast Zone takes care of Pelt Collector, Robber of the Rich. He's going to continue to draw cards off of Robber. Never didn't have it. This is going to be a huge buffer. Opponent will have difficulty swinging through it. And this creates 2 bodies for me to chop so that I can go super big mana with Blast Zone. For Forest, what would the odds be? So they're coming at her with 9 across 5 bodies. So if I take away 4 of that, that's 5. So I'll jump here and here. She goes to 1. This buys me time. So I do eventually want to blast zone onto. And this is what? A 5-on-4, he swings out at Nissa, gets a bunch of stuff eaten. Yeah, I'll take this. Crack back. And turn. Why these lanes have vigilance is silly to me. My lane would be a little different here if I had different big top end in hand. Or somehow was on top of my deck. But right now I have to protect myself. Questing beast is a large issue. Let's see how they swing. So I do want to cash in Sad Robot, so I think I'll cash in with the Endless Dance. And it's a big swing out at Nissa specifically. So we're going to go to blockers. And I'm going to put Blast Zone on 2 and detonate it. So with that in mind, we'll block like this. We'll generate mana to put 1 counter on Blast Zone. Crack this. Ooh. So I'm going to need 3 to activate here. But on mine stone, I won't be able to crack it. Put stop before combat. Stomp on my face hurts. You cast Bone Crusher Giant, like really, it's kind of Ugin or bust here. Very Ugin or bust. Different Ugin. Alright, so how does game 2 go for me? I saw Bone Crusher Giant, which makes Land War Visionary more of a liability. 2 Robbers of the Rich. Take a sip of whiskey. This game looks a lot different if I carned out basically anything. We knew we kept a potentially very slow hand. We got lucky with just Nissa, but we saw only one ramp payoff through the top 15 or so cards, which isn't unreasonable, but we did need to see one more to have a better shot. Ratio wise, with 4 Nissas, we have what, 6? 9. We have 11 ramp payoffs, so we are a little light on that draw, which is okay. Not all of them would have helped, considering we traded off some of our lands in that exchange. We'll play, and this is a mulligan. If this was a slow deck that we knew that we were playing, this is a keepable hand, but we know it's not. We'll keep this, and hey, would you look at that 135? I'm gonna go put this away. I did see I don't recall seeing a shock. So my Land of War Elves can at least get me to cultivate, which means I can play Nissa. Given that we saw Bone Crusher Giant with Stomp, having Cultivate I think is a slightly better play. Alright, I get to freely go up to Nissa, which hopefully means we get Nugan, which hopefully means I start plussing and getting something to combat the board state. Thanks for taking that off the top of my library. Nissa, untap, hit you back. Let's see. Strong play, strong play. Excellent. Ooh, Cavalier of Thorns is a good head for them. So we're going to drop this. Togen. And with this board state, I'm just going to untap. And knowing that they have potential haste creatures and stomps, I'm just going to plus. Hit them back. And the reason why for plus here is that I want to minimize their chances of getting Ugin on a 2-for-1 and potentially get them on 3-for-1 or make them work a little harder for their 2-for-1 with a little narrower suite of answers. And it looks like they want to take out Nissa more so than Ugin. And we'd seen some punch spells. So we just have Land of War Elves going after Ugin. This is a strange play to me. So I'm going to throw... Let's see, with Blast Zone and a bunch of 1-drops. I'm not sure this is a straightforward block. I'm at least doing this. I'll do the full greedy block and make them have whatever it is that they want. So Embercleave is good. He gets Nissa, but then I get to Ugin. And this is the purpose for Ugining. Embercleave is their entire turn, which is pretty bad. And would take them off Robber of the Rich, killing Ugin. Scavenging Ooze, that's a good top deck for him. We just traded a bunch. Karn the Great Creator. Good, good. So let's see what we get here. We're going to Karn, and we're going to minus. And we're going to see what we do about this Embercleave. I forget if equipping isn't activated. Guess we'll find out. This Scavenging Ooze can get pretty big pretty quickly here. But that's okay. We'll see. If they don't activate Embercleave, that means that I was correct with Spyglass. Okay, he wants to go after Ugin. Let's see, how many creatures? No creatures here. 2 creatures, so let's get myself a redundant Karn. Fine top deck, fine top deck. Okay, minus card again. So I think we're going to do Stonecoil Serpent for 7. This is just a big boy. Then, with a 3rd redundant Karn, we're just gonna go grab Tormod's Crypt. And bracket. And we're getting to the point where it's Golo's time. I'm feeling pretty safe. Ugin can kill anything that comes out. Yeah, it looks like we're going to game 3. Okay, stomping it. For value. I see the value. Okay. Sequencing there could have messed me up. Golos. Go get my cataracts. No tech. I'm in no rush to close this game. Bone Crusher Giant resolves. Come on, let's go get Spirit Dragon. Ooh, hello, friend. Plus. Word Visionary. Zero. Another Ugin. We'll just plus again. And we'll see if the opponents. We'll see when the opponent has. Maybe they're just trying to see everything in the deck. Maybe this is overkill. Maybe it's Maybelline. All right, that's enough. So, Ugin really was that linchpin there. Just plus, 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 trading off bodies. No re-equip on the Embercleave was interesting. They were a little bit taxed on land. Well, I had the kind of the perfect 1-2-3 start to get turn 3. So. Oops. Sorry, YouTube. So let's see what they did. It seemed like they didn't just run it back, which makes sense on the game loss. This is not a winning, unfortunately. This is fine, though. So I'm going to keep an Ulamog, and I'm going to send back... I'm going to send back Elves. I think I'd rather have a Boreal Grazer. But you know what? Elves is guaranteed. Until it gets stomped. Cindervines. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, deal 1 damage to that player. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Cool. Cool sideboard tech, bro. So we get perfect 1-2-3. Again, we got lucky off the top of our deck. It gets disrupted, which is okay. And we're just going to cast Cultivate. And they're running a little short on cards. With Ulamog in hand, I'm going to maximize my chances at untapping with Nissa, because untapping with Nissa means casting. I will do anything to untap Vanessa. I will throw away my Land of War Elves. I will throw away my Forest. Because I have a redundant one to get up to 10 mana. Great Pelk Collector. Chump that. And this ought to be GG. Hooray! Is this what Tron feels like in Modern? Oh yeah, tap, Forest, swing. Hooray, we're 2-0. So we're going to do one more best of 3, it looks like. And then we're going to just kind of do a wrap up. Let's see if we can make a clean 3-0. I need to do something about the lighting in here. Boneyard Lurker. I always wanted that card to be good in Lucoria Limited. But Mutate is just not good enough. And Black Mutate was not strong enough either. Because it splits so much with its other archetypes. So Black was super deep, just not great for Mutate. We will play first, thank you very much. I'm a little worried about these sleeves, but I'm going to keep it. So I'm going to start with Grazer again, because of those sleeves. Get my guaranteed land drop. Who knows if I get shocked with Land of War Elves. Cultivate. Come on, this is off the top. Robber of the Rich. Good card. So we're going to put down the elf. We're going to try and protect it. Mobilized District is an interesting choice in a mono red. Unless this is some kind of just odd start to like a chunky red. Legion Warboss. Okay. With Ugin being my only threat in hands, protect the elf. So I untap with one elf and I can slay Ugin. So let's see if they if and what they do. So for those of you who are trying to learn the format, this is a really strange. Ooh, Embercleave. That makes me want to -6 Ugin to get super value. So can I squeeze in 12 mana? No. So we're going to just do 3. 6 takes care of Embercleave. However, I'm going to untap and hit it with Ugin, the ineffable, and or just plus, because he would need a hasty 1-drop, which do exist. Okay. You know what? That's fine. And I'll go ahead and create a card in a locker. Rekindling Phoenix. That's good. Redraw, redraw. This is bad, but we're just going to take care of Evercleave right now. Phoenix is a very good draw for this person. And they just shock. So they get to pressure my life total, and there's not a whole lot for me to do about this other than redraw Ugin. Oh man, this is bad. So I'm not going to reveal my cataracts. Just go to the next game. This is a bit of a chunkier red. We obviously run it back, but exile-based removal is important, so this Ulamog and Ugin are important. Cavalier Thorn stays very good. And again, with our toolbox, we don't really want to do anything about it. So we'll see what kind of start they get off to. They showed us Shock that should stay in, and we should consider ourselves lucky to untap turn 3. So, having a Mind Stone for turn 2 mana ramp isn't the worst concept. Not that I get to choose. Okay, well, let's see if they played too reactive, because I'll do this. No leaking of a shock. If I magically get to untap with both these elves, I'll have 7 mana. Not quite enough for Spirit Dragon. Okay. Anger of the Gods. Good magic card. But I'm not under pressure, and you are. So I'll Simulacrum. Sad Robot gets me Forest. Torbrand. I'll minus you, go 1 for 1. Or 2 for 1. Hasty creatures in red. Seems like a good thing. Rumming up remains is kind of terrible. Okay. You get my Sad Robot and Ugin. So let's redraw here. I kind of want to tax his resources. That was pretty good. Yeah, this is a sequence that I like. Because this allows me Nissa into Ugin. So tap, tap. Tap. What's this, 5? Yeah, that's 5. I've made a grave error. But I do have a Cavalier of Thorns. Put Ugin back on top when it dies. So we'll grab Blast Zone, do that one. Start chipping in with Sad Robot. And I think we're at least going to game 3. And with all this land, I'm going to just cycle the Mind Stone at end of turn. I'm going to block here, make him expend the card. I'd put it again on top. Okay, we go to game 3. So we saw 2 Torbrands, we saw a Glorybringer, which I didn't expect, but I really should, in a mono red deck in Historic. Thank you, Omcat. I have luckily dodged it in draft so far, so I've been so I forgive it for existing. So I think they went a little chunkier, which is good. Good. Because like I do want a little time to set up and find my answers. Elves, Mindstone, Cultivate. This isn't ideal, but I'd get a Cavalier of Thorns, which deals with Glorybringer just fine. Sad Robot. It's 1 land, which is a little sketchy to me. Like, let's get shocked, I die. But I could always just Mind Stone. Forest was on top. Boo. I have to Mind Stone. So opponent knows that I'm a little on the land screw. I'm getting kind of low. So I think we close this out on a loss, but maybe we'll do another. Arboreal Grazer, my friend and hero. Well, that's too bad. Them taking land off top with Robert of the Rich was kind of funny. But, you know, it was a risky keep, and I knew that from the start. It had its potential, but we'll go ahead and play one more. I got about a half hour. So, Red Deck Wins is kind of a interesting matchup. That build, I think, was kind of an interesting one with Robber of the Rich and Castle Embreath with Romanop Ruins. I would not do both. So this is a slower but consistent hand. It has 3 straight land drops. I think better players would either snap mulligan or snap keep. And starting off on basic mountain, yeah, I'm feeling bad about this. So we're just going to ramp him up. Mindstone, we're going to play Sad Robot and ramp a little harder to Ugin and make blockers for ourselves. Particularly because the blockers right now are profitable blockers that make the board state smaller. Now the real question is if I can get away with Ugin or if it's a better play for Cavalier of Thorns. We'll see what their play is. And with no board state, I think it's Cavalier without question. Light up the stage. Lightning Strike. So we're going to cast Cavalier Thorns. Missing Ertz. So it looks like they're just going to go Burn Face, which means my Ugin should come down in minus. But I do have a little time. So I'm just going to use the Frenzy. That's too critical of a card. They're going to get my Ugin, but it's going to buff my life total a little bit, and I took a very important card from them. So he shocks it. Okay. And with 4 mana in play, I don't have the best way to protect it. But we're going to go with only 4 mana. It's a little sad, but we're going to do Golos. Because Golos over the course of 2 turns is going to give me 4 spells. They've already used quite a bit of burn. A little bit more is going to face. I am very low. So what do they do? What do I do if they let Karn live? Make the trade. Gets you Lava Runner. That was a mistake. I'm sorry. Land drop. I think I Shadow Spear here. Put on Cavalier. Swing, get my life total buffered back. Golos. Go get my cataracts. Game 1. This is why we have Shadow Spear. We'll run it back. I got the rematch I was asking for. So they were definitely on a burn face strategy, which means that and they were ignoring my Planeswalker, which ultimately won me the game. Ugin lined up against Experimental Frenzy, which choked them on the playables. Overall, they missed 2 damage with their Gitu Lava Runner. Yeah, I was very close to dead. And they're sideboarding a lot here. I wonder if they're well, I'm not really sure what this mono red list looks like. I'm so used to the Guilds of Ravnica 1. Played that through War of the Spark, more or less, with the updates. So I don't think this is a keepable hand. Ulamog with this set is not great. I will keep this. I'll put Cataracts on bottom because if I'm wishing for something that cares about it, it will go get it. Not having it play until turn 4 really hurts, but they're down to 5, which means that their explosivity is really low. And who knows how high quality the 5 is. No second land makes me breathe a little easier. Let's see if we can get a quality game of Magic in, though. Shock. Okay. So they were maybe thinking about Bolting Bird, or Bolt the Elf. Hey, would you look at that? Playing fair Magic. Don't want to expose Karn. Not yet. I think I want Cavalier before Nissa. Ooh. Blast sounds dirty here. Three for 1 off of a land. That's insane. Ooh. 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 Clipping that one. What do you say, guys? Should we go for the standard MTGO quote league and do 5? Yeah, let's do 5. These are going a little faster than expected. So, I think that's the first time Blast Zone's really done anything of importance for me, and that's exactly what it's there for. If that was a forest, the game continues at the very least. I don't have a 3-play, which is unfortunate here. But I've got stuff to do, and I've got a ramp target with an elf, so we'll see. Look at that trophy. That guy means business. Never didn't have it. Never did not have it. Grazer's not a great redraw, but it is a body. Okay, we're playing against Grixis. Thought Erasure, bye-bye Spirit Dragon. Excuse me. So we're gonna Karn. And because we're so dang far ahead, we do got Ferris statue. And swing it. Because no interaction. Yeah, they just got their statue here. I don't know what they're doing, unless they have another Angrat's Rampage. Alright, that's game one. But I did see an Angrat's Rampage. I saw Thought Erasure, which both impact the 7 that, or my opening hand keeps. He took Ugin, but he died to Karn. He had the answer to Karn, but Karn did his damage. Hooray for Planeswalker ticks resolving no matter what. I think depending on how they keep designing Planeswalkers in the future, they might need to change that rules interaction. ETB effects always go off, right? But there are some effects that only go off if the creature still exists. Hey, we were just talking about redundancy. That's great. Field of Ruin may not do anything here, but it could. Thought Erasure hit Cultivate. I mean, that's why we have Mindstones, right? And I don't know if I Cultivate or if I Sad Robot. Yeah, I Sad Robot. So they're putting me in a very Jundy, Grixis-y, we both play off the top of my deck type of situation. Which is okay and fine. I won't complain. But compared to some of other decks, this is maybe a bad idea. That's a pretty bad idea. So what are you gonna win with? What's your thing? So you take Ugin. You know I have Ulamog. Eventually you have to remove that and give him a card. This is a great reason to have at least one of you guys. Okay. That's fine. Mindstone. Redraw. So I'm pretty far away, even though I was using redraw, and maybe that was a bad play against the Thoughtseize deck. Nikki B, Dragon God. Well, that's tough pickles. Blast Zone. Can I get like Nissa? Ooh, Cavalier Thorns is really good. You messed up, AA Ron. And that's 8. Minus it. I fucking dare you. I'll get rid of it first.
You have no weakness I cannot exploit.
So we're gonna put 1 charge counter there. Okay. You do what you need to do. I'm never getting Ulamogni in this, so.
Witness a mote of my power.
Man, Nissa or Karn off the top would be perfect. Spyglass Nicol Bolas. That would be excellent. There you go, let me cultivate. You let me hit Nicol Bolas. That's interesting. So I have 9 mana represented. Scribe that to the top. So I'm going to feel the fruit in response. And let's go ahead and hit the Watery Grave. Hit that shuffle.
Let your weak minds crumble.
You got it, buddy. Put Mr. Spirit Dragon up top. Thought Erasure, so he's digging for a counterspell. So we're gonna put Blast. 1 counter on Blast Zone. Finish the turn. And to win it. No counterspell. Okay. You're out of bully boys. Karn, you great creator.
True goodness can never be corrupted.
So Serpent is really good here. It's a great defensive tool for me. And likely against this deck, there's so many gold cards. He bedevils. Good. What I really wanted to wish for was something quite different. I should have bastioned. That's unfortunate. Search. Okay, you get to flip it soon. Look at you cultivate. Being a hero. Now we can cast Oolong. Alright, am I going to get there? 25 cards left in deck. I've come through so many cards. Okay, both my Ulamog's are there. I have 2 Ugins there. Like, I need Nissa. Like, he's gonna draw 2 spells a turn. Complete with. What do you get? Duress. Proliferate. My Stone Coil Serpent. GG. Alright, we went 4-1 as a total. So that was pretty great. Hey, we ranked up to Platinum Tier 2. We started at Platinum Tier 4. So, like, we're on our way to Diamond. Great. Historic is a fun format. Adds a little bonus. We're gonna go back, crack a pack. And we hit Garrick Unleashed. Nice hit. So we're gonna go ahead and just take a look back through the deck and the super impactful cards that we saw. Generally speaking, we did win a game off of Ulamog, and it was like our super ooper duper top end. We did kind of get stuck with it in the final match, but you're going to get that with your top ends, especially 10 mana ones. We wished for Golos and Godfarer's statue, which won its games. And Shadow Spear found us a huge win off of Cavalier Thorns against Red Dead Wins. Being able to lifelink for 6 while pressuring their life total, which is typically an issue against any kind of red deck wins, is if you stabilize on low health, you as long as the opponent has board presence, and there's only a few things that handle it in this archetype, you can't really start swinging back. Overall, I felt like I obviously noticed a few misplays throughout, but we played pretty well. We played against opponents that, for the most part, played at similar caliber of quality. Maybe they didn't optimize their outs to win, such as the Nicol Bolas player. I thought it was very interesting that they didn't have counter spells and ultimately played in such a way that they gave us the outs when we could eventually resolve a spell. They ran into the Jund trap while they were playing blue, and I feel like that was a mistake on their part. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed the content. I'll see you next time.